Hello everyone, this is Cindy and I'm back with another group of tags. This is batch 41 through 45 and I've already made this video once and I'm not sure what went wrong, but it wouldn't load, so here we go again. So let's just get going. Number 41, the idea is to take a stamp, quote, and put it on your tag, and here I stamped directly on the tag, and on this one I did layered cardstock. Scrapbook paper. So a quote and some sort of image. On this one I just stamped an image from the same stamp set, and on this one I didn't have a stamp of a star, so I just cut one out of some sparkly paper. So that's idea 45, just to put a quote on your tag with some sort of image. And of course on this one I just added a little extra trim. So idea 41. Idea 42 is something that we talked about a little bit in a previous one. It was using sprays, except on that one I took index cards and was spraying just like a background. On this one we're going to attempt to do a stencil. And if you remember me saying on that other video that I made, Diane H gave me this idea about putting paint and water in a spray bottle. And I had mixed results. One, and it's not the paint or anything like that, it's the fact that my sprayer isn't as good on one as it is the other. But that's kind of what it looks like. It's not bad. And this would definitely probably be, you know, the beginnings of the stamp. I mean, not the stamp, the tag, a background or something. You put a collage or something on it. That green spray bottle is supposedly the one that's not as good in mine. The pink one is better, but let's try it and see if it's still the case. It does more of a mist. The other one does more of a stream coming out, and it really needs to be more of a mist. And see, that did a little better job. I'm not sure if you can tell very much, but more of a mist, more of a spray. So it just kind of depends on your little sprayer, and it could be the ratio of water to paint. It's just something you have to experiment with. So you can also use alcohol inks, and I think I mentioned on the other one when we talked about the index cards that I made my own alcohol inks with just the felt from Magic Markers and then just regular alcohol, and they do real well. So anyway, stenciling with paints or alcohol sprays, and also I'm just going to include just regular stenciling in with this too. Let's see if I can get my stencil. This one is a little tricky because it's kind of narrow, but you know, you've all done stenciling, so you know, just a stencil of some sort and your inks. And that, once again, this would be more like the background of the tag. And here's one I did earlier, just when I was practicing with. This is a new stencil I got, a little cat. So basically you know how to do it. Just put it on your tag and use your dauber and some sort of ink. But anyway, that's idea number 42. Spraying or with stencils, or using distress inks with stencils. All right, let me find a place to put these while they're drying. Okay, I'll move all this out of the way. And this stencil of the birds, I'm pretty sure I got that from Dollar Tree, because that looks like a Dollar Tree packaging, but I'm not real sure. Okay, idea 43 is one that's been out there quite a bit. It is just a flash card or some sort of card, playing card. These are I Spy game cards that you just paint gesso or just regular acrylic paint on to give you a writing surface. It covers up part of the image, and then you can also, if you wanted to, cover the backs with cardstock, which is what I did on this one. But I kind of like leaving it so people can see how the card originally started out. And of course this one has a little bit of space you can journal on. But that's idea 43, which is just taking some sort of card and painting it with gesso or acrylic paint, just so you have a writing surface. Idea 44 is using a spirograph to create a journaling card. And I got mine. Here's the little gizmo, and it's definitely at Dollar Tree is where I got this, so I paid $1 for it. And I noticed just the other day they still had some at my Dollar Tree, so they're probably still available. Basically, you put a piece of paper right here and get one of these little discs, put your ink pen in it, and just go around, and I'll show you real quick. But before I show you, I just wanted to talk about there's all these discs, and depending on which hole you choose, you might get a design with a fairly open center, which could be placed to journal. If you get something like this, you know, if you did it in lighter inks like this blue one, or is it green? Blue, I think. You could write over the design, but if it's like this, you know, there's really not a space in the center. So it could be used for decoration though. But when I was cutting this one out, I did it like a fussy cut. It reminded me of a wreath. So I thought, you know, you could do like green ink and do it for a Christmas journal, make a holiday wreath out of it. So anyway, let's just do one of these real quick. And find some paper. Just put the paper in. And you'll just have to experiment with which holes make the best design. I'm just going to pick one randomly and go with it. Spirographs were a rage when I was growing up, so it's kind of fun to have them come back out. But anyway, that's the design of that one, and that's not a bad little design. So anyway, this is, I did 45 to use the spiral, they call it spiral art. We call them spirographs when I was growing up. But anyway, that's, I would do 45. I mean 44. 45 is to make one of these little journaling cards that has got two little circles here with a slot so that they lock this folded paper in place. So you can open it up. Of course, you have all these places to write on. And I don't know if you can tell, but this little half circle has got a slot cut out. And this one does too, and they just slide together and lock in place. And it slips into your pocket. Okay, I got the pattern for this. Here it is right here. It's a plastic pattern. I got it several years ago when I mean several decades, more like it, ago when I belonged to this club called Club Scrap. And basically what you do is you take this, put it on a piece of paper. It's got, you know, dashed lines, so you trace around it and get your pattern on your paper, and then you cut it out and then fold it on the dotted lines. So that's where I got my pattern. So I thought, well, how do I get a pattern for anyone that's watching this video? And I thought, well, it surely can't be too hard to come up with my own design. Well, yeah, it can be. So anyway, I thought, I can't come up with an original design, but maybe I can figure out how to make a pattern from this. So I took that one and was looking at it and was able to come up with a pattern. And it's not hard at all. I have 3 different ones here because practicing it and then for the other video. So what I did was I measured it, and you need to cut a piece of paper. And this is just for you to have a pattern. This is not for your good one that will go in your journal. So you just need a piece of paper that measures 6 by 4.5. Obviously it could be a little wider, a little taller, however you want. But the one I made ended up being 3 by 4.5. So you want to cut your paper 6 by 4.5, and then you're going to fold it in half so that you got 3 by 4.5. And then you need to take a ruler, and from the cut side, measure in a 1/2 inch. And just put a little dot there. And then from the fold side, measure in a 1/2 inch. So I just put a little dot there and a little dot there. And then I'm going to connect those 2 lines. And I'm going to take the scissors and I'm going to cut across that line. And what we're doing is we're making the 2 doors on the front of the card. So let me show you real quick. We're making these 2 little doors parts. Now, of course, we just cut one off. So we're going to have to get it back on there. So make sure we get it going the right direction. We're just going to line this up. And somewhere I had my tape. Let me go grab it. So we're just gonna, oops, tape it down. Start over on that. Okay, there's our doors closing. All right, now we need the little circles to lock it in place. And I just took my 1-inch hole punch, and mine has the scalloped edge, but of course it doesn't have to have the scalloped edge. And I'm using a different color just so you guys can see how I glue these on there. Because if I put a white one on there, it's kind of hard to see. So I'm just going to get another piece of tape. And I'm just going to put it halfway on the door, about in the middle this way, and then just kind of halfway up. And then I want this one to match up with it. So I'm just going to place it behind it, close the door, and then just kind of lift up and then tape it down. Okay, so I've got my 2 circles and they're taped over each other. So that's basically the pattern. So you would put that on your good paper, trace around it, and you'd know you're going to fold on these 2 lines here. I don't know if you can see that line very well. This line here, you're going to fold on those 2 lines. And then on this, you're going to cut up about halfway. And then on the other one, you're going to cut down. Make sure I get that right. Cut down halfway. And then that should lock the 2 doors together. And if you need to cut it a little more, you can. So anyway, that's the pattern for this journaling card. And then of course you could do whatever papers you want, decorate it however you want. But this is just to show you how to get the pattern. Okay, let's go over it again real quick. We started out with a 6 by 4.5 inch piece of paper, and we folded that in half till we got 3 inches. And then we measured a 1/2 inch, measured a 1/2 inch, did a diagonal line so we could cut our 2 doors. And since this door got cut off, we had to tape it back on. And that gave us our 2 doors. And then to get our locking things, we cut out 2 circles. And they could have been a little bigger if you have a 1.5 inch. You just have to work with it a little bit. We cut our 2 circles out and taped them on halfway on the door and halfway off. We made sure they lined up, and then we cut a slit at the bottom of one and the top of the other, and that just locks them in place. So this is idea number 45. So I hope it works out for you guys, and you'll take better care and tape it down better, because this will be your pattern. But anyway, that's idea 45. I hope you like these ideas. I'll talk to you later. Bye.